All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Public show today. Hope you guys enjoy. This is of my Real Crypto Power Hour. Go to real-crypto.com and you can find me there. Also, starting a public stock investing newsletter. That'll be coming out sometime in the next before November. So keep a lookout for that as well. I'll be asking for opt-ins to that. If you guys are interested, it's free, and it's about doing better in the markets. So my newsletter the other day, actually in the chat room the other day, I pointed out this bottoming candle right there. There's a couple candles after that. I wasn't around for that one. It was probably right around the open of the day, and a very high volume bottoming candle stepped in, and we've been essentially straight up since then, forming a flag late yesterday into today. Looking good so far. A little bit of topping just came in, so we're seeing a little bit of stagnation. But in the bigger picture on the daily time frame, I've got quite a few lines on here. I could make this a little more concise. I think we had an alert there, so I'll keep some of these around, but we'll get rid of quite a few of these, especially at this stage of the game. We had this in case you broke down, but that's where the undercut and rally happened the other day. Just want to get rid of a few of these. So we talked about this trend line that broke, and now that's actually not going to be a valid alert level. Let's adjust the alert level here as well. So we broke above this consolidation, or not consolidation, downward sloping trend line. And we do have quite a few. Let's get rid of this one. We'll get rid of that one. We had an alert there. We can get rid of that one. It's fine. So this is kind of a structure that we've been dealing with. Upward sloping trend line here acting as the floor, and let's hope it continues acting as the floor, because that puts a expiration date on this whole structure that's been playing out for a good majority of the year here. Starting to get some higher highs. Once we start playing with these highs, things would be a lot better. When we start dropping down here, we were saying hopefully we don't go too far and get supported by the trend line. Fortunately, we didn't even get to the trend line. So I'm hoping this is just a nice little consolidation, a basing structure, if you will. This would be interpreted as a double bottom base in my opinion. So we're going to put a buy point right here. 64,451 loosely written. And that's going to be the alert level for BTC for right now. And we still have the all-time high at 71,970. Nope. Why do I have that one and not this one? So the high here is 73,121. Okay, so all right, 73,121. That's actually what I should have here. I'm not sure where this number came from. That's way too high for me, a fat finger or something, but anyway, so these are the levels we have right now. 59 to the downside, 64 and 73 to the upside. Seems highly likely that, at least now, that those are the levels. Yeah, so this has been a real fight for BTC to stay this choppy. Real fight. You have lots of moves to the downside, lots of moves to the upside. Hey, what's up, English? Sui's killing it, man. Sui is definitely leading this market cycle. It's, every cycle there's a couple layer ones that really go for it, and Sui's the one on this cycle. I have that on the newsletter, so we'll take a look at that later. But BTC is pretty much the core of this asset segment, cryptocurrency. So worth time spending here. And one thing I actually met someone last night at my kids' karate class, who trades options, and he has a very interesting strategy. It's not super interesting, but he's been able to trade it apparently very successfully. Guy's retired, been trading for 35 years. Was telling me about a $10 million trade he had that he got wiped out on because he did stupid, although yes, he didn't really view it that way. So I don't know how much money this guy's got, but he's got enough. And he takes it's a 5 and 40. It's a 5 and 40 moving average cross with an Arun, which I've never heard of before. So this Arun, I'll add this to my favorites. Refer to Arun up down as a range bound technical indicator. This is what it looks like. And I do want to look into this in relation to previous, BTC things. He also uses the cloud in some way. He just kept like dripping out a little bit of information here and there. 14-day rune, take the number of days since the last recorded 14-day high and low and calculate a number between 0 and 100. A 14-day rune down will do the same thing. So there's a down and up, and then when they cross, that's a signal, I guess. The number is intended to quantify the strength of a trend. The closer the number is to 100, the stronger the trend. A rune is not only good at identifying trends, it's also a useful tool for identifying periods of consolidation. Yeah, it's actually a really simple calculation there. So there's your trend change, I guess. So a rune up is orange for some reason. That's weird. So trend spotting. It's pretty cool they have these yeah, this article is helpful. Yeah, I'll give you a thumbs up there, buddy. So this is a so this is a rune new to me. So I do want to look in this in terms with a rune and and the whole market right now actually. So one thing interesting is the moving averages on BTC. If I can do this successfully, there we go. The moving averages on BTC here are getting, so they were pretty tight over here, but then they started getting wider and wider. They're starting to get really tight again. You got the 200-day here on top. You've got the 50-day here on bottom, which is kind of interesting. Um, that type of a pinch setup like that. So the volatility is definitely tightening, and we're coming to a consensus here that I think this 62,000 is kind of what everyone's willing to pay for BTC at the moment, give or take. So until we break out of this range, I think that's pretty cool. So we need to get out of this range. And the moving averages are kind of showing that. Actually, the Arun showing that too. Let me add the Arun on here. So blue's at 85, and we haven't had a new low in a while. So there's your trend shift on the Arun. There's a trend shift on Arun, which really didn't do much. I don't know how that's a trend shift on Arun. Which one's up? Up is orange. Okay. All right, up is orange. Down is blue. So that would be an uptrend. That would be an uptrend, which didn't last very long. That would be a trend shift. Okay. So yeah, I do want to look at this in concert with Arun. Let me do this. Let me open up a different space. He also had some other things he did with options. He's a big options trader, so am I. And he used open interest on far out of the money options. And I was thinking about looking into that in relation to BTC. So a lot of things going on here that I don't usually do. So we're going to start off with some stock derivatives of Bitcoin. I think that's going to be a good place to start today. This is all in relation to Bitcoin running, so we're sticking with crypto. It's just we're using stocks as a derivative. Riot, we're just going to go through this list. These are all the mining stocks. So we're just going to go through this list real quick. Riot looks like garbage. Mara, and I don't have MicroStrategy on here for some reason. Mara looks like garbage. That's not good. CLSK doesn't look very good. Wolf's holding okay. That's not too bad. CIFR, all these don't really look very good. Usually, these stocks end up, at least one or two of them, the leaders end up leading Bitcoin, which in this case, they're not doing that. So there's MicroStrategy. Okay, MicroStrategy's going up. Wow, MicroStrategy's at new highs. That is interesting. So MicroStrategy behaving well, everything else not is. So maybe MicroStrategy is the leader. One thing he does, and I pulled up my stock account, and it's not. Let me format it right so I can look at it here, or you guys can see everything that I see. At least most everything that I see. There we go. That's really all you need to see there. You know what? I'm going to bring this in so I can see chat. Okay. Um, MicroStrategy. He looks at far dated options and it looks at the open interest. So it's too close to January, only 3 months away. So he's going out to June and he's looking for big open interest, is what he's looking for. So here's the open interest column. What the open interest is, it's an indicator that people have purchased or sold options. And 200's okay, it's not great. So here's MicroStrategy going out to June. Let's look at all of them actually. I don't think he trades this, that far out, but we can take a look at January too. I just want to see the open. So here's open interest in the thousands, right? 4,000 for 30 calls. So that means that there's 4,000 of these contracts written. It's a little bit like volume. So here's actual volume, but these contracts persist until they're expired. And so it just tells how many are written. Unlike stocks, there can be almost any number of these written as need be. So hundreds is not very good. Oh my goodness, this is way too many. So let's go to 40 as the number of strike prices we're willing. So we're at 212. That takes us up to 310. That's pretty good. So here we can see 11,000 in open interest, 7,000. This is for January. 7,000 in open interest, 4,000 in open interest. So that's pretty good. Thinking of a way to mirror both the strategies together. So back to June. Here we only have a couple of hundred in open interest. That's not so hot. A couple hundred is 500 at the 220. Here's 2,000 for December 2025 for 250. So these are people taking big bets that Bitcoin is going to go on a large rally sometime before a year from now, a year and 3 months from now, December 2025. 2,000 going to 250, 1,400 going to 300, 4,000 going to 250. And, here's a bunch. Look at that going all the way to June 2026. Yeah, these are big money bets. And it's kind of like what we do with price and volume, except you kind of, the only thing you don't know here, and it could be a big thing not to know, is if they bought or sold this. Because when you make an option, so like I could sell an option if somebody wants to buy it. It's a two-sided thing, right? The question is, did more people buy this or sell this? Did someone go looking to buy 1,500 or looking to sell 1,500? Because depending where this bid ask spread is, you could probably sell 1,500 if you wanted to, The market maker will take that trade because they'll make 20-30% in the interim and it be all good. So here's some good bets going out to June. And then here's some okay ones going to January. And then here's several thousand going to December, but really none in September, none in June, none really in June at all. But January this next year, there are some people going for a rally up to 343.73. And here's MicroStrategy already at 221 on a big breakout. So BTC kind of looks like this, but MicroStrategy is already running tremendously. So that could be, I mean, that could be a thing. Let's go back. We should be able to get some information from here. Let's just pick a random date, August 30th. We can look at old data. Let's go to the same January. Should be able to find open interest. I'm just going to go fast here. So there's open interest. We really don't need to know that. Oh, geez, these are all the strike prices. So there's 6,000. What are the ones we're looking at now? These are the 300, 4,300 for the 300. 4,300 for the 300. So it's about the same. And January, where's these 380? Oh, because this is all. That's why. 6,600 going to the 380. and that was worth $4. Just call it $4, and now it's doubled. It's $8 to the 380. So if this thing keeps going and it's doubled from here to here to here, and it's gonna if it gets closer to that, it's gonna go up tremendously. You can see these are at um, $9, and these ones that are at the money are worth $40. So that's a 500% gain from here, and they're already up 100%. So some pretty good, yeah, some pretty insane bets. But actually, I'm not really mad at the bets. It's not a strategy I would generally employ. But if you take a look at the length of this base, this structure, obviously we're probably going to go in a larger rally based on the length of this structure. So, taking those bets out that far really does reduce a lot of risk. Especially if you have structures this large that are obviously holding up. This is a very bullish pattern, as a matter of fact. That is not what I wanted to do. Can I Control Z that? No, I can't. Okay. So just depending on where you want to draw your trend lines and stuff. I mean, I'm just drawing some pretty basic ones here, but yeah, I mean, based on this type of a structure, just loosely going from 51 up to 200, where do you think this is going to go? 1 to 400, 100 to 400 up here. So if you're looking at a 400 going out to January, this would be, well, from here, this is from here, this would be worth $20. So basically doubling plus 50%. So there's definitely quite a bit of quite a bit of stuff going on here. And then, going further out, like I talked about, going to June. You can go to April, you can go to March. You don't have to go to June. We can look at some of these other ones. Looking for some bigger open interest. None there, none there, none there. So most of these, so the reason why there's so many different strike prices on December, September, no, June, September, those are normal. Those are normal options expirations. There's abnormal options expirations. These used to be once a quarter. So I haven't actually done this exercise before. These January 2026 ones look pretty good, but they're $50, which is $5,000 per call, 4,000 of those. So they're just paying, that's time they're paying for right there. And if it gets to 380, maybe that, I mean, because you're going from $50 to $80, it's not as good. So okay, so that was something interesting. MicroStrategy, the best looking stock in this sphere, and there is some juice going to January. Going into January, there's some juice here, I think. You got 6,000, you got 4,000, 1,500, 1,600. So the pepper and bets around here. Here's 7,000 for 250. And we've already broken out. I mean, this is moved. Yeah, it's almost a little too high to buy. Good volume as well. I mean, this bodes well for BTC, but most of these other ones suck. I mean, these things just suck. But imagine what MicroStrategy, I'm not sure how much Bitcoin they have now. It's got to be a bunch. But imagine how much this company is going to be worth, because all they are is a Bitcoin holding company at this point. They still make some software, but who cares? It's just, look at that. Their earnings are garbage. They just, their Bitcoin holdings are so huge. Look at how tight this consolidation is. Look at all this trash. And then look at this. I mean, this thing could 10x again. I mean, geez, that's a possibility. That's a possibility right there. That looks like the better Bitcoin bet than Bitcoin, to be quite frank with you. Um, so pretty good stuff right there, actually. That's in terms of MicroStrategy. And if you want to place Bitcoin bets in IRAs, Roth IRAs, stock trading accounts on MicroStrategy, this is man, let's look at that. I'm sorry, let's look at that again. These are just not solid. Right blockchain used to be the leader, had a huge run. There's some tremendous trades between these two runs here. Absolutely tremendous. Could come back. It's possible. I don't know the dynamics behind it. Could come back, but that's not doing very good. Mara blockchain. I mean, it could pop up in concert with every. Because here's the thing: if Bitcoin goes and they have enough of these other ones, they could try to play catch up in these laggard names in the stock market here. CLSK, which until recently was a leader, had a nice consolidation but gave it all up. That's not looking very good. Wolf is okay. Does look like a cup and handle. or really low in the handle. I guess if you want to pick laggards, maybe this is a good one. I would probably do some fundamental research to see if these things actually produce positive earnings or not, because that could also propel them higher, just on that strictly normalized basis of earnings, not Bitcoin trickery. This thing really hasn't done anything. IREN hasn't really done much. Hut stuck in the mud. And then you see this all-time highs for MicroStrategy. I would very much stick to this one. You stick to the leader in the space when it comes to stock market BTC derivatives. Definitely MicroStrategy has proven itself the leader here. Very, very good. I feel dumb I didn't have it on my list, as I should. I should feel dumb for that. All right, so that's looking great. You can imagine with Bitcoin up 1% today, which is a Saturday, that this is going to be further up here on Monday, Tuesday. So this could be a buy the dip scenario. You know, if you get a consolidation like this, maybe try to buy those dips. If you want to buy it when it's going up, you're going to be holding through some insane volatility, very likely. Hopefully volatility to the upside, but eventually it will come back down. But this is great. If Bitcoin was doing this, off to the races, ladies and gentlemen. So remember I mentioned at the start of this that usually some derivatives run prior to BTC running. Well, here we go. I didn't have this on my list. And MicroStrategy, I don't know what I expected to see, but it wasn't this, and I feel dumb for not having it on there. But because, well, it's not a mining stock. These are supposed to be mining stocks. See, mining stocks, but yeah, it is what it is. Looks really good. Excellent 15% day on Friday because they knew they were going to probably run Bitcoin over the weekend here, which they're doing. So let's get to that. So what we learn by doing that exercise? We learned that MicroStrategy is the leader, and we learned they do have some juice going into January. So I think that is a potential trade on the table. I don't know, where it's going to go. Really have no idea, but those things tend to go up multiples when they move. For instance, this last leg was 50 to 185. Just call it 200 at 199 actually. So if that's a 400% gain or 200% gain, 300% gain, 300% gain, 300% gain there. You go up 100% here, and you're at 327. You go up 200%. You're at 500. You go up 300%. So you're at 668. So you're looking at some pretty crazy moves here for these names. I mean, it's probably not going to run like this. That's an 800% gain. Hey, what's up, Blay? How you doing? So it's probably not. It may not do that, but look at this. Actually, maybe it will. Look at this volume right here. What tremendous volume in MicroStrategy. I mean, that could precede a crazy ass run. Really didn't. 2017 didn't do too much. Stocks later. Yeah, I'm actually gonna start a stocks newsletter, Blast. So you'll probably get an email from me. I'm gonna email real crypto members, see if they want to opt into the newsletter. I'm gonna do it the ethical way. I could just take all your names and dump them in the thing, and I kind of want to do that because it would save me some work, but I'll probably do it the right way. Um, but I really like. I mean, this is amazing. This is really great. I really wish I would have saw this last week. So good stuff here. 200 support, perfect. Got moving averages breaking out as it's crossing the trend line. I mean, this is just textbook. This is gonna run for fucking months. It's really. I mean, those Junes look pretty good. Let's do something real quick. Let me draw some pi method trend lines on this thing and kind of see what I get. Okay. Man, that's a solid base right there. Now we have an extension up. All right, there you go. We have another extension up, and this is an immediate trend line. So this definitely will be broken. Hopefully these other two are not broken. So, um, okay, there we go. So this tells you right now, if we make it into January and this trend line holds, which is not guaranteed, but you're looking at 330 by the time about January comes around. I can put text on here too, huh? Jan, no. Oh, text. Okay, I've never done this before. January 330. Okay, let's see what that looks like. It's okay. It's not bad. Okay. Cool. Now I can put some text on there, I guess. So that's yeah, if that keeps on that trajectory, it'll probably see that and then base and go sideways into it again or something like that. But these immediate trend lines always get broken. They always get broken. So you could have drawn this one and it lasted all the way until there. Arguably we're here, so maybe it'll keep going for a bit. Um, yeah, that January does look pretty good. Okay, this looks perfect. This is amazing. I want to stay on this chart more than BTC's chart because it's not broken out yet. But let's get back to BTC. So yeah, we did that whole exercise because sometimes these stocks move prior to Bitcoin moving, and none of them are except for MicroStrategy. So consider MicroStrategy the leader, and be under the assumption Bitcoin is going to move because it's been stable up here this long. At some point, it kind of has to. And MicroStrategy is running first. That could be a good thing. We shall see. We've adjusted our trend lines here, done a lot of work so far, um, and choppy moving averages getting a little bit tighter, and we're hoping we start to break these highs. There's another alert I actually should throw here on the trend line break at 68 700. So these are all kind of important levels to watch as BTC ascends, and ideally, obviously things go well. It's been extremely choppy. I mean, there's no way to really forecast chop it at this degree. Um, all you can do is be flexible with the markets and be willing to stay cash most of the time. You know, you're going to take your shots, and you're going to maybe make some money, maybe get hit, hopefully break even. I mean, when you're in chop like this, in my opinion, if you're a breakout trader, if you're breaking even, you're doing great. I mean, yeah, there may be some money to be made in here, but you kind of have to change the strategy from buying breakouts at highs to buying breakouts at lows, which sometimes feels really weird. I know I'm not super comfortable with that. So patience at this time, and then waiting for the rally to come, here like when it's ready, rather than trying to force it down lower here when it's choppy and doesn't feel natural. At least to me, everyone's sense is different. But when it's choppy like this, to me, it's really hard to do much. It's good to notice the signs. We talked about that bottoming candle, and yeah, I'm hoping we're good. I hope we were good here. I hoped we were good here. Hoped we were good getting over this high. None of those worked out. So you're just waiting for when the market gets good, and you just have to be there and accept it, kind of like having a child, I guess. You can't really direct it where to go, but you can affect how you control it. And hey, what's up? How you doing? Praise God. Must be a new moniker. Not familiar with your handle there, bud, but good to see you. Would I know you by another name? So yeah, just waiting for things to go up. I mean, this is a good. So this is good though. I will say that. So let's take a look at all this. So here you go from chop, literal chop. You rally up, you form a top, you come down, you form a bottom. Oh, a fatal fury, cool man. Yeah, nice to see you. So you're over here. You're hoping we're just going to consolidate and break out. You got a nice horizontal. You have an inclining trend line. This trend line doesn't exist yet. You're being held up by the 50-day, and then you give up the 50-day en masse. Very large volume, at least above average volume. Come back, test the low, undercut the low, start getting choppy. Now, like, okay, maybe we'll range bound. I'm sure you can go back and, if you remember the power hour, you can probably go back and check my newsletters. Probably at a horizontal across there, and things just evolve, right? So things evolve. You get another lower low, which kind of breaks everything. I mean, you can handle this horizontal. You can handle these wicks down here, no problem. But then you start closing under here. You come back. You don't really get above a high over here. Things start getting weaker. Okay, now you have a little trend line coming down. You're like, okay, I'll give that a little bit of a pass. And then it goes up, test highs again. This still looks somewhat manageable. Okay. And then cup and handle fails. And you have uh, this fails, it starts to feel worse. And now you're down here like, okay, this sucks. You undercut here. You're like, okay, now we're back in a freaking choppy bearish market. This happens, right? And then you try to get solid again. You got a high volume bottom. You're looking at like a mini capitulation candle. That was the Japan carry trade, if I'm not mistaken. And now we're here. So here's a base failed. Here's another base forming. We just have to see if it fails again. It's going to be impossible to tell if it fails again until it fails again. It's just the fact of the situation. So if you're going to be active in the markets, if you're going to be participating, you have to deal with the uncertainty. And this has been a huge mind fuck. Just a huge mind fuck. If you're still surviving at this point, good job. You've you've won. I mean, in reality, you've won. So if we do get an uptrend here, you've earned it. Um, yeah, you basically earned it. Hey guys, I'm sorry. I gotta pause for a second. My water is already gone. I filled it up early today, so I'll be back in about a minute. I'm just gonna grab some water. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Dead air's not good on YouTube. When Moon? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about Wind Moon. Each part of the cycle been okay. Like this structure that has been forming here isn't even exceptionally healthy. So hey, what's up, Jason? What do you think Master's going to do next week? I'm wondering if the recent all-time high breakthrough is kind of front running and it will be flat next week. Well, I don't know about next week. We are actually just looking at MicroStrategy, Jason. Um, I don't know about next week. I mean, I don't play that particular game. I look in things in terms of trends. Okay, if the trend is going and the trend it just broke out, so this trend is just beginning. I don't really care what it's going to do next week. Um, but we're running, and so we're just it's going to go for weeks. I don't care about next week. I really don't. As long as BTC is holding up, I do believe it's front running BTC. BTC is looking pretty good, but this has been such a choppy environment. It's been really difficult to say exactly when it's going to run. At every opportunity, it's just turned around. The good thing now is that we have higher lows, and if that can hold, and then we'll eventually get higher highs. The time frame on that, to answer some other questions, is really difficult to say. But I'm hoping we're in the eighth or ninth inning at this stage of the game. It's been freaking long enough, for crying out loud. Going all the way back to mid-March is when we topped. So it's been a menagerie of garbage going on here. So like I said, if you've survived, you've done your job, and you're just looking for the breakout at that point. Whatever that looks like, however that works out, is going to be a slow uptrend, is it going to be a fast uptrend? It's hard to say exactly. The yen, I don't really do the currencies. I don't really follow them. Um, I could take a look, I guess. JPY/USD. Oh yeah, the Japan carry trade. Currency, these kind of move of their own thing. Obviously, it's broken this uptrend. It's just floating lower. I don't know if it's going to continue floating lower. There's a lot of macro involved in currencies that you need to understand. Obviously, the interest rate of their Federal Reserve Bank. You need to understand all that stuff. And so, I don't know. You could get a bounce off this 200 like this. It's just really difficult to say. It's not something I actively follow. It's hit a pretty low RSI clip. I mean, you could get a bounce out of it at some point. Oh, you're gonna go to Japan? Why invest in the currency? Don't they have something else worth investing for? I mean, I don't know. It just oh, like overall, like the future. I mean, if you're talking like, US losing global dominance type of future situation, I mean, I guess you put baskets of money in different places, but the amount you're going to be able to put in these different locations is going to vary. Let's say you get $1 million liquid and you want to split it across world currencies. What do you do there? Do you buy some of the Chinese one and the US one and the Japanese one? Do you buy the EU? Like, it's hard to say. If the US falls, is the EU going to be the next currency? Is Japan going to be the next currency? Is it going to be a digital currency? There's all these unknowns, especially when it comes to very large macro currency stuff like that. Um, uh, Bitcoin's probably a good place. I hate to say it, but I mean, when it comes to macro global currency, that's kind of what Bitcoin wasn't necessarily designed for that, but it was kind of designed for that. And it sounds really weird to say, but especially because Bitcoin's so volatile. But yeah, maybe Bitcoin's the way to go. It's hard to say. Yeah, Japan. It depends on your time frame. It just depends on your time frame. 3 years, 5 years, 50 years. It it just depends. Uh, in all honesty, I've thought about this a little bit, not a lot. All I said to myself was, I'm just gonna make a fuckload of money in my currency, which it happens to be unfortunate enough that it's the U.S. dollar, right? I'm just gonna make a lot of money, and then if and when the time comes, shit hits the fan, it'll probably be fairly obvious where to go, and probably moving into that currency will take a lot of moving money around, but maybe it'll be the right thing to do. I don't know. Maybe Bitcoin would be the right thing. Maybe it'll be the worst thing to do. Who the hell knows? You know, people could sell dollars and buy a shit ton of Bitcoin, taking it up to fucking $1 million Bitcoin. You don't know. You really have no idea wherever the liquidity wants to go. So, yeah, in the short, I don't know. In the short term, I think your range, but you're not going to make any money. That's the other thing with currencies. You're not going to make money. This is like 5%. So really, who cares? In the past, obviously, yeah, big devaluation there, and that's a problem. 35%. That's a problem. But in this interim, it's just hard to tell. Yeah, yeah, you need to know the macro to play currencies, and that's not a macro that I'm really familiar with. So, all right, BTC. I'm hoping we're on the upswing. It's been so I just switched to the 2 hour time frame. So here was our undercut and rally candle. I did call out this bottoming candle in the private chat. Um, Clear hammer candle on the 2 hour, heavy volume, the same volume as this topping. So kind of makes sense you get one then the other. But this is our range at the moment, and this low is based off of this right here. Obviously not based off of this. A little bit double top action here. Could be a small cup and handle forming. Maybe get us back up to break the 64,451. I think this starts to break because this is now a double bottom pattern. It's not a huge one, but it's there. Um, then you got to get up here to the trend line to 68.7, right? And then you're going to be looking at this 73. I think that's what we're doing. I'm hoping we're good. We have a minor capitulation here on Japan carry trade, higher low, and then you have a test of high, and you have a base to basically give us enough momentum to break through that, and I'm hoping we're good. Long story short, that's kind of what I hope happens. And it kind of, it's setting up that way. It's in the charts. Volume aggregation tool looks good. Um, we've been talking a lot about RSI trendline breaks lately. And RSI trendline breaks. We loosely broke there, and then we started basing, going back under the RSI trendline break. Now we're back to testing it again. And look at this, we're breaking out here close to the 50 level. When we broke out here, we mentioned it was a little bit high towards 60. 50 seems to be a little better. Some are breaking out lower. But this market does look like it finally may be ready to go. But I think I've said that before. So who the hell knows? Nobody knows. All right, let's move on from here. Ethereum, not an inverted head and shoulders, but it looks like an inverted head and shoulders. Kind of feels like an inverted head and shoulders. I think we could start to get going a double bottom here in the right shoulder. I think if you're really interested, your stop could be here about 7%, the 2300 level. And hopefully that's, hopefully that's the low. If we start going up, ETH will go up as well. It's not leading us, unfortunately. It's lagging, but and which is new for Ethereum. So it could go to the change in market dynamic where it's not leading any longer. And there's some data out there to suggest that it's not leading any longer, as a matter of fact. So do with that what you will, but there's some data out there suggesting that Solana is getting a lot more play, and some other ones are getting a lot more play too. BNB's just been solid up here around the 550 level, chopping around here for all the way, pretty much since March, all the way up, all the way down, back to the middle. So BNB's looking pretty good. When BNB's stable, I think the market is in a good spot, almost a stable coin at this point. Solana, would like to see a little more leadership out of Solana, but it has the same structure, uptrend here, trying to do something with a base. Um, and this has been up here also since mid-March. You zoom out further, you got a huge rally. You can see all the alert levels we had on Solana. Um, Pretty good ones too. I want to look at these actually. So this is a pretty good example of 3161. Where's that? Down here? Okay. A pretty good example of a coin that is a leader and behaves really well. This is why leadership to me is so important. Not only the fact that they tend to go up a lot, but the fact that they're easy to manage. And as emotional beings, which we are, it's really good to see something that's easy to manage and it's easy to hold. So going all the way back to the bottom here, 2056. I'll throw this alert on a lot of tokens. Let's back out a little bit further. So this was choppy, but it had an organization to it here, right? We got pretty low volume. RSI got really low, and we formed a nice cup. And if I remember correctly, at this time, there really wasn't a lot of formations on anything. This was one of the few. And so when it started to break out, it's like, okay, cool, this is good. Volume was great. A couple of pocket pivots. And then it formed this one at 24, cup and handle. Okay, so you get a nice little cup, then you get a cup and a handle, then you start to believe. And at this time, if I'm remembering correctly, still nothing was going on. Okay, it was still garbage market, but Solana, the leader, was shoring itself up. And then boom, it breaks out here. I have a 3161, which as we learned earlier is somewhere in here. So a little bit of a choppy line here. And it goes up. Put a letter here at 4181 as it consolidates there, chops through a little bit, but not too bad, never undercuts a low. And then rinse and repeat. We have one here at 57, 66, 78, consolidation, 98, 112. So it just starts behaving really, really well. Trendline break, early go, horizontal, horizontal, early, kind of way early trendline break. And then another trendline break here. And then here you have a bunch of weird stuff happening. It starts getting weird. So there's a larger cup and handle. That's why this is here, right? And then you break up. So just the organization of it, organization of Solana is you have to appreciate it, and it really pays to notice it early. And sometimes it's hard to do. Sometimes it's easy to do. Solana was fairly easy. This time around, though, it's a little different. We're not nearly as concise. We're not nearly as tight. Seems like Sui has taken the place of Solana. Someone mentioned Sui at the top of the show, and I think that Sui is kind of taking the place of Solana for whatever reason. I don't know why, but trendline break is seemingly imminent. 152.58 is the current alert level, giving us a lot of opportunities, and it's done okay. But again, very choppy. Oops, I want that one. Very choppy, just like with BTC. All right, XRP. We're going to go through most of these real quick. XRP choppy, bear flagging out. Probably will move up with the market. It had its times where it popped, but when it's able to go down like this on this much volume, usually people get scared of it and it tends to not run again. TON, still working on the declining trend line. A big nothing structure up here, but it'll probably move with the market. Same with Doge, it'll move with the market. It is more stable here, though. We've been able to go sideways. So ideally, at some point, it'll pop. Doge always pops at some point. It's kind of one of the things with Doge and all these other kind of meme tokens. They always pop at some point. Cardano hasn't really had this was a good move, but The only move since it's gone live. Oh, that's with Ethereum too, actually. Since Ethereum went proof of work, it's been really, really, really lethargic. So, or proof of stake, I'm sorry, not proof of work. It moved from proof of work to proof of stake. Been very lethargic since then. But yeah, so Cardano also since it's gone live has been garbage. 36.48 is my current level. It's an okay level. Better one's probably up here at 40 cents. Tron, this is going to be a leader this cycle. This is proven to be a leader. This is one of the tokens that has increasing usage, unlike Ethereum where it's stagnated if not declined. So you're probably going to see some stuff out of Tron that you never thought you would see out of Tron. It's come back, and it's proven to have been a force. It's been a choppy piece of garbage for the most part, but lately it's been doing pretty good. Nice cup structure here. 1665. We had the 1529 all the way down here since it's been doing good. And look what it's done with the 1529. Look at that. A beautiful pivot point. Hasn't even, never even came back and really touched it since it broke. Above it here, above it here. Really can't ask for anything better. So you buy this on a dip if you can. The market's going to break out. I think you're going to see Tron way up. I mean, maybe it'll go back and hit $1. Who the fuck knows? But um, like where was it down here at the low? You're talking 3 cents. Now it's at 16 cents. 4 cents up to 16 cents. Who's to say that $1 is out of the question? It is crypto after all. It can happen. AVAX, I've been putting on a show the past couple of days. Able to get back up, giving this one a couple opportunities, but it's been a little more difficult for this to really stay stable and rally. But it has broken through the declining trend line, so changing trend and moving into a choppy cycle. But eventually, we should go back into an uptrend. Shiba Swap looking like some semblance of a flag. It's hard to really say what's what here, but looking pretty good. Good volume on the upside here. I see the declining volume there, very nice. Declining price situation, very nice. Higher lows here. It's not bad. It is a meme token, but it was a meme token here too. DOT sucked all the way around pretty much the whole time. There's always been something better than DOT. It's just in the top 20. Bitcoin Cash, I like tight action. I don't like Bitcoin Cash, but this is some pretty darn tight action. It also got pretty tight here, kind of tight. Like I got wide, then got tight here before it started this rally. And you had a second opportunity here. If you didn't buy it here, like who the hell would buy it here? This looks like it's not going to do anything, right? But sometimes those are the times when things do get going. And I feel like we're in that situation here. I'm not advocating buying it here, but I feel like we've been a little bit volatile. We're gonna go flat, and you know, yeah, I feel like we're. It looks like we're gonna do something just based on how low volatility's gotten. So 10K Bitcoin candle upcoming sooner? Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's looking really good. We just went through MicroStrategy, and yeah, pretty good. You're Jared, right? Midwest Picker, I believe. Um, yeah, so I think we could be on the verge of something here. I don't know exactly when or where it's going to happen, but it just feels that way a little bit with Bitcoin Cash, especially the past week when it's just really done nothing. See, it rarely does it go sideways. It usually trend down, chop around a little bit. Like look through this whole thing. You don't get this much sideways. This is at least a week and a half of sideways action. Really don't get it anywhere else. Almost a week here. Tries it. So keep an eye on Bitcoin Cash. I got this 369. It's a little bit high for the scenario that I'm talking about playing out, but that would be a trend change. All right, Chainlink almost in a similar situation. Really hasn't proven itself to really been able to do much here, so kind of don't treat it with a lot of respect these days. New protocol choppy, doing pretty good. Not that good though, just pretty good. Litecoin, Litecoin choppy sideways. I'm sure this will have a move at some point. It'll catch everybody off guard. Litecoin's it's a good technology. It's a good asset. It does get usage, um, but it's just one of many secondary Bitcoins in the space. So doesn't get its what it deserves, at least in terms of valuations and price movement. ICP choppy garbage. Leo choppy garbage, and Uniswap. Oddly enough, Uniswap with a big move up the other day and holding high in some kind of a flag. So a little tough with Uniswap to say it's garbage. Um, it obviously it's very widely utilized. Maybe at some point it'll actually get its just desserts and start to move too, but it just keeps coming back. It's one of those choppy tokens. This thing's been choppy for 2.5 years, not just most of this year. I guess 1.5 years. So yeah, even going back, this thing rarely has a run, but it does look better than most tokens at the moment. The question is like, what's the impetus that's going to make this thing rally? There has to be a reason for the rally, even if it's meme coin shit. Like it doesn't really matter. But I'm not sure what the reason for Uniswap to go up a good amount is. All right, didn't have a lot in the newsletter. Did have Sui. Let's see what else I had. I think I had one more. Nope, it's just Sui. Little train that could. Little train that would. So with the market looking like garbage, started breaking its trend line here. Actually, I'm going to adjust my trend line. Broke the trend line, came right back, which not a lot of them do. It's hard for things to come right back. This one did. And now it's in new highs again. So Sui on the warpath here. Let's take a look at Coin Market Cap. I wonder where Sui sits on this list. Number 17. So it's in the top 20 right now. It is in the top 20. I need to adjust my list. Um, it's been on the up and comings. It's been a beast. Nobody wants to sell this thing. It's been a monster. So it's doing something right. If this is real, 297,000 transactions per second, that would explain why Ethereum's garbage. That would explain why Solana's garbage. If people are actually able to build on this, like I don't know what the skinny is on Sui in terms of its utilization. I know we did a little look into it. I just don't remember. It'd be interesting to see if they had some kind of a utilization chart. I don't know. Great website. Phenomenal website. Less code, more secure. People will like that. Move is the most powerful smart contract programming language. So they have their own language now. Oh, they have a grant system. Maybe that's going to be a thing. 30K subs with 11 viewers. Yeah, when you don't ever really post a public video, um, you tend to people tend to forget about you, which is fine. Obviously, I'm still I'm still around, just not public on YouTube so much. I appreciate it. I just try to be a resource, guys. I mean, in reality, we're all just people out here trying to do best for ourselves. So I just try to be a resource. But yeah, no, I am starting that newsletter. If you guys didn't hear, I'm starting a new stock newsletter. Not really for active traders though. I really want it to be more for kind of retirement investing, but it's going to be about getting 30% a year, not 7. So I'll be coming out with that once I figure out all the infrastructure. If anybody knows how to integrate like newsletter with WordPress, um, I'd appreciate a little bit of help in that regard. I'm working on it. I'll figure it out, but if somebody has a shortcut for me, I'll take a little bit of help in that regard. Um, I'll show it to you real quick. I mean, why not? It's called How to Invest Better is what it's called. I picked that URL because it's been upward trending on Google Trends forever. I don't know if it's a good name or a bad name, but it's the name. I have a lot of names I could choose. I have Trading 202. I have Timing TQQQ. Um, and I got a bunch of stupid shit on here I've written. So if you guys want to check it out and if you guys can do better, um, I'll put it on here instead of what I got. What? I will never use that pass. I don't use that word, man. Only time I even half use it is when I'm singing rap songs to myself alone. So just because it's in the song, that's about it. But um, yeah, I got this. I'm starting this website, gonna start this newsletter. It's gonna be free, and I just want to help people get ahead. Eventually, I'm sure I want to build it up. Eventually, I'm sure I'll put ads on here. It'll be some kind of a revenue stream for me. I've always wanted to help people with investing, and I really do think that yeah, I'm kind of excited to do this. I haven't been really excited about something for a long time in terms of a new project. Um, ChatGPT helped me build a compound interest calculator, which I'm kind of happy about. So I really do like that. Whereas I have another page. I have a couple of pages. I need to find a way to put my page links up here though. Nothing crazy. I think I'm just gonna revamp it all together. Anyway, if anybody knows how to do newsletter stuff with WordPress, I could use a little bit of help with that. I got Beehive for the newsletter part of it. So I want to show you this other page. Oh, it's called Investment Math. It's pretty cool. I had chat build me this calculator. Um, I think that's yeah. There you go. I had this built this calculator for me last night. It's pretty dope. So I gave it my I'm 45. If I put $1 million in there, I wanted to add commas, and then if I'm not going to add any. Um, yeah. So nice little investment calculator. So if it's 7% rate of return, if I had a million, I'd have 2.8. 30%, I'd have 85 million. So you can put anything in here, 50,000. This is to age 60, by the way. I need to add some context to this, but if you only have 50,000, it's 7%. You're only going to get 142,000. I think that's a tragedy. There's so many people doing this right now. So many people doing this. Um, I'm not even sure if this number is right. I got to double check ChatGPT's numbers. But my goal is to help people get 30% annual returns. I do this in my wife and my kids' retirement accounts, and I've averaged 38% on average since 2018 or 19 or something like that. So I want to help people get achieve this and really just not be stressed. So many people are stressed about money, and this is a game that people have to be good at. I'm already good at it, and so I want to help people do that. So when this launches, I'll come to you guys, and I will expect you to spread the word because this is actually a pretty dope fucking thing. So um, each of you is expected to invite 10,000 friends. Anyway, you get the gist of it. But yeah, I'm very excited about this project. Um, and I'm starting it. So it's all good. Be a better investor. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so back to crypto stuff. Yeah, that's all I had for my newsletter today with the Real Crypto Power Hour. The market's turning up a little bit. Most of these altcoins, though, yeah, I appreciate that, Blay. Yeah, seriously, man, spread the word. I'm gonna do everything I can to get as many people in. Um, it will be eventually it'll be a revenue source for me. We'll sell advertising or something. I do have to be paid for that work. Um, every business has to be floated, right? So maybe a bunch of naysayers. Most people will understand, but it'll be a free newsletter, and I'm just gonna give the farm away. That's about it. So give the farm away. Your last grand. If you're down to your last grand, then you need to figure out how to save better. It's really what you need to do. You know. But that's in all honesty, that's the point of how to invest better is to take people that don't have the money to trade and but I mean, why do they have to deal with substandard returns? It's freaking horrible. It's absolutely horrible. What people are going to be going through in their 50s and 60s because they just don't know better. So cool, man. Yeah, I'm excited too. I, I, I just it's gonna be public. Like you guys know me obviously, and you know what I'm about. The general public doesn't, and I'm not an exciting person. um, but I'm gonna try to use, some of the structures that the hustle has used and all these other newsletter services to try to get to try to make it enticing enough. So try to make it enticing enough so people will be comfortable doing it and reading it and hopefully, learning from what I've been able to do and what I know. Out of work for a while. What's going on there? I work like 4 jobs well, now 3 jobs. I stopped doing that. They stopped having me do the public show because they didn't. I'm not sure if I was not very enticing or they didn't make it very enticing, but I guess a 5 minute show on YouTube didn't make a lot of didn't make a lot of success. But it was their format they wanted me to do. Anyway, yeah. So I do real crypto, and then I do my day job. Then I trade, which is pretty much its own full time job, and then I do yeah. I guess that's what I do. I do projects, and then I'm gonna do this. So my fourth job again. Why couldn't you work? You hurt? You injured or something? So while Jay and I are talking here, I just want to go through, just show you guys these altcoins and how the altcoins, I think it's interesting. These altcoins aren't really participating in this market trend that much. Aave's been pretty good, but most of these are down into the right. You know, some are sideways. Um, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, you got to get back on the horse whenever you can. APT's doing pretty good there, but a good amount of these are. Ark's been looking better and better actually. Of your money, I hope. Could take that a number of ways. Ark's been doing pretty good. I do like it at the trailing. It's just I don't know. I need to put an alert here. I just haven't put it on the newsletter. I just something about Ark. I don't know. Looks good. Looks pretty good. But most of these alts look subpar, substandard, like they're not leading. Um, yeah. Well, are you better? Are you better now, Jay? Just a bunch of garbage altcoins down here. Okay. Well, I just yeah. You don't gotta talk about it. I just want to know if you're better or if you're still struggling. I'm not. Don't think I can do anything, but well, if you got some time, maybe take some time to study these markets. You know what I mean? Um, study the markets. Do yeah, learn it. Well, see, that's the whole point, Blair. When you look at the yeah, like when you look at this. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a gist of what I'm doing with this. Okay. Oh, it's BTC, it's not stocks. So this is pretty much what I'm doing. This is what I do with everyone's account. I use leverage ETFs and we do market timing, and that's it. We don't. I mean, I do options personally, but I'm not going to advocate for options with this particular newsletter. So we're going to take the Qs, which is the Nasdaq, right? And if you look at the Nasdaq over the past however long, let's just go back to 2017, okay? Okay, let's go out of this one. So by using market timing strategies, okay, by using market timing strategies, you can, I don't want to say easily, but very possibly, partake in a good amount of uptrends. 47% there, and I'm not going to go all the way to the top. Oh, okay, good for you, man. Oh, you're a youngin. So you're born in 2000. So you're 24. Oh, good for you, Jay. You got tons of time, Jay. Dude, you're gonna kill it. You want to check this shit out, Jay? You want to check this shit out? Check this shit out. No, I'm not registered for that. I would like to start a hedge fund, but that's a whole different ball game. Okay, where's my thing I just had? Did I close it? Oh, here we go. Okay, so check this out. So you're 24, right? Yeah, no, I don't. I can't manage people's accounts. You're 24. 99. Yeah. So you're 24. Okay, Jay, you sound like a go-getter. When you get better, when you feel better, man, you need to go out there and you work 3 jobs 24/7. Go get yourself 5 grand. Okay? All you got to do is get 5 grand. I'll hold on. I'll hold on for you, Jay. So I wonder if that's right. I'm going to go on a different screen here and use a different compound. I haven't double checked these numbers. I just made this last night at like 8:30. So Let me go to a different compound interest calculator off screen here. I just want to see if these numbers are right. I don't think they're right. What's 60 minus 24? 36 years. Estimated interest rate 7. Interest rate variance 0. 57,000. So I guess it's kind of close. I think my math may be off on the years there. Also depends how it calculates it. So was it 60 minus 24? Yeah, 36. So 57, this is 61. Okay, so it's not bad. It's in the ballpark there. I'll get it down to the nitty gritty, but just for the purposes of our conversation here, it's good enough. So, but I'll wait for Jay to get back here. But like for me, retire in Mexico, I'm too white for that. Okay, I'm just too white for that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I live in Arizona. There's just too many stories of people going down there and having dumb shit happen to them. You're just a big target, you know. They're like, oh, this guy's an American. I have friends of mine at work that are Hispanic people, born in America and all that. Go to Mexico, no problems. I know a lot of white people who go to Mexico, no problems. But there's a subset of white people that go down there, shitload of problems. And I just don't want that kind of problem. So I'm just gonna take where I'm not wanted and understand that. But I would love to. When I was real young, I went down to Mexico for a few trips with my uncle, and it was great. We had a great time. It was phenomenal. And yeah, I mean the currency difference between the U.S. and the Mexico makes you live like a king, which would kind of make me feel like shit. Um, I just like I don't know. I'm not a socialist by any stretch of the imagination. Like I just told Jay to go work his ass off, and he should. But I do believe people should live good lives. We have enough technology and enough resources in the world right now. There's no reason any country, anybody. I mean, the only reason that people are impoverished worldwide is just due to political shit. That's it. Political shit, religious shit. You're seeing that in the Middle East right now. Well, it's partially religious, but some of that is, hey, let me, strip all you people of your land and put a bunch of Jewish people here. Um, that's been going on for still less than 100 years. Anyway, the fact of the matter is there's really no reason globally. We have the technology, we have the resources. We can ship stuff across the world in a day. You need something from Australia, you can get it here in a day if you want to pay enough. No problem there. You know, there's no reason that Mexico should be fighting water wars. I mean, at some point, it'll probably take the next global war in reality for us to be where we should be, to the point where everyone's like the UN actually does something. Everyone's actually working together. But it's gonna be maybe I can go to Ireland. My wife's mother's there. Um, it's too fucking cold though. I'll just be really rich and retire where I am. That's fine. I'm fine with that. Um, but yeah, it's probably gonna take the next world war, and unfortunately, 100, maybe a billion people dying, maybe. But it probably won't even be then. It'll probably be 2 or 3 world wars where we finally realize, hey, you know what? Let's actually work together and just do cool shit and stop competing and being huge assholes to one another. Let's go compete in business. We don't need to compete for land. You know, especially as the world gets more westernized and technological. I don't know. There's a lot of we have a lot of privileges here in the West. We can think like that. But if you're in the Middle East, maybe Africa, maybe you can't think like that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm 100% a dreamer. Well, I mean, in reality, it's fully possible. Well, why couldn't we do it? Just because of ideals and politics. That's really about it. You know, why can't we harness the like fresh water for crying out loud? Why isn't desalination plants $4? You know, you should have a desalination plant in your hand. I'm sure if there was enough money in it, somebody would have invented it by now. It just doesn't make any sense to me. There you go. Randy 2028 has a good ring to it. Go be frustrated in Washington. Yeah. Go be president of the UN. That's what it is. One of the main problems is nationalism. I think that's one of the main problems. Um, people thinking that we're better than them, or I don't care about them because I'm here. I think that's a problem. I really do. I really do think that's an issue. We can overcome that, but I don't know. That's a big socio-psychological experiment that would have to be take place to like if you can get the Palestinians and the Israelis to move along in their quest, then but good luck with that, right? We're seeing that right now. Are you back yet, Jay? For crying out loud, I'm over here waiting for your ass. Anyway, so Jay's a baby. Yeah, Gatorade, exactly. Well, maybe that's how it's going to happen. We're going to be dumbed down to the point where we think Gatorade's good for plants. Maybe I should just go buy stock in Costco. This Costco stock's been doing great. That dude I met last night has been killing it on Costco stock, I guess. Doing really good right there. Yeah, out of low trends like this, he's got a good strategy. I need to get it. I need to get a little bit more of a strategy out of him, but he's made some good money there. Speaking of good money, Nvidia's breaking out. Early breakout, not a traditional breakout. It'll probably stall as we get closer to the high up here. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you got time. Let's go get a shitload of money. Go get $5,000 and go get 30%. There you go, man. No, you got to buy stock so you own it. You have to own stock. That's the thing. You have to own stock and you have to own assets. You must own assets. And if anything, that's what this inflationary period taught us. You know, you have to own the asset, not just be a member. So, but look at this. He's 24. By the time he's 60, if he just puts in $5,000 and just puts it in a normal index fund that gets averages 7% a year, he's going to get about $61,000 just out of that $5,000. But look at this. Look at 30% annual returns from 24 to 60. Like it seems crazy, and it is a lot of work to do that. But $214 million with no added monthly contribution. You just add $100 to that. Let's see what that 214 goes up to. 390. Crazy. Absolutely bonkers. So with time and with interest, because you have to realize that investing is a kind of a three-legged table. Not sure what I have on this one. Let's do this. Let's go to Sheets. So investing is a three-legged table. So you have principal, you have a rate of return, and then you have time, right? So most people end up with most people have like average money, average rate of return, and average time, right? So let's just say average is $5,000. Let's say average rate of returns eight. Let's call it 8%. Let's say average time is 20 years. Okay. So let's dump that into this calculator. So what did I say? 20 years. So that would make them 40. $5,000. You're getting $20,000 if you're normal, right? This is like normal. Is 5,000, 8, and 20. That's going to equal how much at the end there? 20K. What? That's it? Jeez. Okay. So that's normal. So if you have time, so if you have time on your side, 5,000, 8 rate of return, you have let's say 30 years. Yeah, that's not a lot better, 40,000. Well, in this scenario, you're not investing anything else. Okay. So let's just say you have a lot of money. Let's say you have 20,000. Okay. So this is money. So these are your advantages right here. Okay. So you get 8%. Let's say let's go back to 20 years. You have 80,000. Okay. So by having an advantage, you do better, right? 40,000. So Normal is 20,000. You have time, you have money. Now if you have rate of return, let's go back to 5,000. Rate of return is 20% and you have 20 years. Let's see what that is. Well, I have to do 30%. This is me more than I wanted it to be, but just deal with me for the moment. And 20 years, right? So you're 40, you have 5,000, $1.8 million. 20 years and 30% over 8 is gargantuan. I can't even begin to tell you. You have to work with well, that's what my newsletter is about, Desh, I'll tell you. So um okay, so this is an extreme example, but I'll just do it on this calculator because I can change the interest rate easier. So 5,000 length in time years, we're going to go 20 years, we're going to go interest rate, we're going to do 20%. We're going to do 20% because I think that's more realistic for a lot of people. So that's 191,000. All right. I don't think this calculator will even let me do 30, will it? Let me see. Yeah, see, something's off with my calculator. So I'm going to use this calculator. I have to adjust mine. Okay, so time, money, and this is return. Okay, now let's say you have, let's say your main benefit is return and money, right? You can have more than one benefit. Let's say you have 20,000 and you're going to get 20% return and you got 20 years. Okay, so let's see what that does. So that's 5,000 or 20,000 initial. I'm not even doing any monthly contributions because it just is what it is. For 20 years, that's 766,000. What? Oh, it's over the 5,000. That's why. Okay. Anyway, so anyway you slice this, anyway you crack this egg, right? You need to have an edge. You need to have, because here's normal. Normal sucks. You go from 5 grand, you just get 20 grand after 20 years at 8%. That's the dumbest shit I ever seen in my life. Okay. Now keep in mind, this is without monthly. We can add monthly here in a little bit. I don't mind doing that. Um, but let's just stick with this, just very apples to apples comparison. Okay. So you can see with varying, so all with 20 years. So, time does really good. Time doubles your output. Your time goes up 50%. You get an additional double your money. You double your money. Um, you start with more money at normal rates, right? These are all normal. Then you get quadruple your money just because you're starting with quadruple the money. All right. I guess that's fairly straightforward. And then if your return, this is the funny part. If your return is your edge, you usually end up doing better. The the edge of return is huge. So Desh, I'm not sure how to which one. Um, this is what I was going to go into here in a little bit. Well, don't worry about that. So there's things you can control, there's things you can't control. The things you can't control, throw them to the side. Who gives a shit? The things you can control, you manage them very well. So here's okay. So here's where market timing comes into play. Okay, 100%. Here's where market timing comes into play. So, and we're going to go to the TQs because that's what we're going to invest with. We're going to invest with the TQs and we're going to market time this son of a bitch, right? You want to do better. You have to think outside of the box. There's a lot of people think you can't market time. They're all incorrect. You can do it. And that's what I'm going to be basically advocating for and teaching with the newsletter is market timing, trading leverage ETFs. Okay. So we're just going to go since I don't know, pick a 2017. Right, there's a little horizontal right here. There's a lot of volatility here, right? A lot of volatility, up, down, up, down, up, down, huge down. Three big, huge downtrends. Okay. Well, if you just go with buy and hold investing with the TQQQ, which is a great asset, I love the TQQQ, you'd be up 1,300%. It's a great asset. There's no arguing that the TQs are. It's an amazing thing to buy. Um, Absolutely phenomenal, right? So if you had $1,000 here, um, you basically have like what, $100,000 $10,000 to $130,000 on this one. Okay. So, and it just talks about without any risk. Forget the risk. Okay. We mitigate risk. It's just risk mitigation. Okay. And there's a couple of ways to do that. And, when I do the newsletter, I'll go a little bit deeper into that. But with risk mitigation, so this is essentially an index fund. It's an index fund of the NASDAQ, but you get triple the performance. This is what you want to invest in, yes, because it's risky. Okay. But we're going to remove the risk because we're going to exit before these things fall. All right. And people will go, oh, Randy, you can't time the market. Go fuck yourself. I've been out of every one of these bear markets, every single one of them. All right. Every single one of them. And up well over 1,300%. So what you do is you end up trading each leg, and you trade each leg, and there's a general framework that I use. Um, I say general framework because there's definitely art to it. It's not all science. So you get back in, you take these legs in the market like this, right? And then the whole point is to get back in when the market is looking better. Okay? So I'm just going to draw these real quick. Obviously just off the top of my head. Let's just say you do that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I try to wait for you, but after a while, it just takes a while. Yeah, you can listen on 2x. I talked about a bunch of bullshit for a while. I really only started about 4 or 5 minutes ago. So, so here, we got here. So this was COVID. I remember COVID. Actually, I remember COVID. Let's just say we sold on the gap down day. Okay, no problem there. No issues there. Getting back in on COVID was relatively straightforward. I think we got in here. And I'm trying to remember. Uh, you can just stay here, Jay. Just stay here, Jay. I'll go over what I said. It wasn't that much. And now that I've done it, I can recap it quickly. So I'm trying to remember if we sold off on this one or not. Let's just say you sell there. Um, I'm just trying to be somewhat honest here. And then when did I get out in 2022? It wasn't as obvious, but let's just let's go right there. Okay. So we'll take the same 10,000 times 155%. What? Okay. Times 19.25%. I don't know how to do math. Anyway, because the percents will compound on themselves. The point is this. The point is that if through this whole thing um, was 1,300%, what you do here is you basically, and there's ways to do this that are smart, right? So you miss this whole downtrend, and then guess what? You miss this whole downtrend, right? And then guess what over here? You miss this whole downtrend. Okay? Now, yeah, I don't. Nancy Pelosi newsletter. Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know all the details in there. I mean, if you're dealing with that type of a life and death situation, if you don't think you can wait 20 years for wealth, then I just go live your best life, dude. Just like if you want to go build tables, go build tables. If you want to, just find something you enjoy and go do that and fuck the money. I mean, fuck money. I really don't even care about money, to be honest with you. It's not about the money. Um, it's really not. So, yeah, I say just go do you, my friend. Now, I'm doing a couple things on this. Um, and this will be oh no, I did sell out over here. I sold out right there. Yeah, go to Thailand. That's your best life. You want to invest? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, Jay. All right. So, shoot me an email, Jay. All right. Shoot me an email. You know my email, Randy at real-crypto.com. It's on my website. I'll type it here for you. You don't have to go into your situation, but shoot me an email, Jay. I mean, if you want to learn to invest and just depending on what you want to do, um, I have a couple different chat rooms. We'll figure something out, okay? But this is what my newsletter is going to do. This is what I want to teach people is possible. So the market ebbs and flows, and it is possible to get out. Now, I do want you to notice a couple of things. I want you to notice number one is that I took this from peak to trough, essentially. Let's go all the way to the peak, 1,600%. I took this from peak to trough. That was a breakout point. That was the ultimate high, and it's going to go further than that. So, um, but all of these will add up to a lot more than that 1,600%. I don't know how to, let me do this. I'm sure chat's going to fuck this up. Yeah, 170,000. Okay, now the percentages. The 155%, then 19%, then 59%, then 41%, then 229%, then 59%, then 103%, then 82%, then 27%. Compound that, please. All right, chat, let's see what you got. So it's 170,000 for 10,000, which let's be real, that's amazing. 170,000 is awesome. But by doing this, according to chat, it's 1.183 million. So you essentially 10x what you do with the TQQQ from 2016 up into today by employing these market timing strategies. Okay? And that's all you're doing is timing an index fund. You don't have to do anything insane. Now, let's be honest, there's going to be some mistakes in here, right? You're probably going to take a little bit of a loss here and there. You're not going to make as much on some of these legs. But at the end of the day, what you'll be able to do is walk away with shit fuck tons of money. So you start with 10 grand in 2016, that's 8 years ago. As of right now, you're worth 1.183. So, I mean, someone tell me the fault with that. Now, like I don't remember every single little bit of these, but some of these trends we just held with, and other ones were a little bit more serious. Like up here, the Fed started raising interest rates. This was COVID. I think I sold that actually earlier than that. I think I sold on this day, as a matter of fact. I don't think I even sold on the gap. I sold earlier because I'm more aggressive. But the fact of the matter is this: the fact of the matter is that it's fully possible to do this. And if all you do is avoid these uptrends, or I'm sorry, these downtrends with these 3 times ETFs, the money you make is insane. It's absolutely insane. So, like I said, I've averaged about 38%, and I haven't done this to the T since 2016. Like I've been loosely managing it. I've been a lot more focused on my options trading, but with these strategies, I mean, like this last one, this was the real deal right here. Exited right there when I think that was the day Nvidia topped out, and you get back in after we bottomed. I mean, ideally, shit, you could buy right there probably, have it be 37%. So there's a number of things that you can do, and that's kind of what I'm gonna help people with. I want to teach the macro side of it. I want to do all this. timed with potential turns up trend. I'm not sure yet. I don't know if I'll have enough content to do like a daily newsletter or a bi-weekly newsletter. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And that's something I struggle with crypto too, which is why I really couldn't keep up with the public videos on Real Crypto. It's just like there wasn't a lot of shit to talk about. It just, what would I say? Like the same old shit I said the previous day, which is, I guess, keeps the views coming in, but doesn't really super beneficial. I'm not sure yet. I want to make it daily. That's my goal, is to make it a daily newsletter. I just don't know the exact content I'll pump out. Maybe it'll be current events and how it affects the market. I'm not a million percent sure. Yeah, so an ETF is called an exchange traded fund. It's essentially here let's go to Soxel. So Soxel's an ETF. They're owned by Direxion. I was trying to get to Direxion actually, not Yahoo Finance. Yeah, you just avoid the downtrends. That's all you do. Yeah, you just avoid the downtrends, and that's about it. So an ETF. So there's stocks, right? The stock market started because of stocks. GE, Ford, all those stocks way back in the day, and and eventually, some people came along and said, "Hey, you know what? What if I put?" He's like, "I don't have a stock, but what if I start a company that trades like a stock that is comprised of multiple stocks?" And that started ETFs, exchange traded fund. So it's like a mutual fund, but it's traded just like a stock. Okay, so Soxel, Soxs, and these actually go for, they leverage. So the Direxion Semiconductor Bull and Bear 3 times seek daily investment results before fees of 300% or 300% the inverse of the performance of the NYSE Semiconductor Index. There's no guarantee the funds will achieve their stated investment objectives. So these guys look to get 3 times of this semiconductor index. And the TQQQ aims to get 3 times the QQQ. So you can see here, it didn't quite achieve its goal. 0.16%, it only got to 0.26%. Actually, there's another one here for NVIDIA. NVIDIA was flat at negative 0.01%. Its 2 times ETF is 0.14. So, when you're at certain percentages, it gets real hard to be very precise. But they give you this ability to get 2 times the return. So why the fuck not? You know what I'm saying? Why the fuck not? And and that's it. So that's what an ETF is. An ETF is is basically a stock comprised of different stocks, and there's some of them that can provide multiples. They provide 3 times. So, well, good luck with that one, Deck. Good luck with that one. All I know is that this shit works. It works amazingly well, and I can't think of a easier, less risky way to make a lot of money. I really can't. I honestly can't. I mean, starting a business is risky. Most businesses fail within a number of years. Um, you can buy multiple houses, but that's risky in its own right. Maybe you lose your job and lose all your houses and have nothing. Um, this, you just take excess capital and you time the markets. And how you time the markets, I'm not going to go into it right now because I'm going to go, but it's not even super difficult. Obviously there is ways to do it, and I'm familiar with the ways, and those are the ways I want to teach, right? So yeah, that's that. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, could you have gotten 1,300% from BTC from 2016? Yeah, probably. Okay, probably. But anyway, BTC is a good asset. All I know is that these the stock market is the stock market. It just is what it is. BTC is a lot harder to fully know what it's going to do. So anyway, guys, I gotta go. I gotta bounce. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll let you guys know when the newsletter comes out. Jay, if you want to email me, let me know. And then yeah, let me know. Send me an email. We'll work something out. And If you like investing, if this is what you like to do, I'm sure I can help out. How do you avoid the downtrend? You just sell into cash. That's all you do. Yeah. Well, so the short end of it is you look for market turning points. You sell when the market is topping, and then you buy when the market is done going down. Okay, and you may fumble it at the bottom. It's harder to fumble it at the top, in my opinion. But either way, you're going to fumble both sides of it. But you're not going to lose 20%. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be small losses. It's going to be great. So it's going to be good. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. I'll see you later.